Hey fellow animators, I'm Milos Cherny. Let's continue with creating this walk cycle. This is part 2, so if you haven't watched the first one, you should do that before watching this one. Okay, this is what we had from a previous part. Now let's finish it to a more usable state. Open up Motion Editor again. Before we start with fixing the legs, let's actually take a look at pelvis again. If you look at the animation from the front, you can see that the pelvis moves quite a bit, specifically the roll parameter. So let's scale it down to just 50%. The reason for this is that we want to have the pelvis finished before we start fixing the legs, because if you first set up legs and then change the pelvis, you might have to change the legs again. Okay, so with the legs, I start with these two parameters, pitch and foot bend, to set up the bending of the legs, at least generally at first. Let's start with the foot bend. We want the foot to be bent much more at this point. Like this maybe. But now the foot will snap too fast into this bend, so let's increase the value at this point as well. Also change its tangent to make it smooth. Do something similar for the other side, when the foot comes back to the front, so the bending is smoother and not so fast. Pitch of the foot platform can start a bit later, so offset it to the right. And this actually works quite alright. There is still a lot of snapping in the front, but we will get to that later. But the feet are moving a bit high at the moment for my taste, so let's scale lift down to 50%. Also, if you check this pose, the legs are quite far to the front. It looks like the center of gravity is off for the character at this point. So let's offset the legs more to the back. Okay, that's better. Now let's take a look at some more details. Specifically, chest rotates a lot, so scale down twist a bit. Also, if you look at the animation from the side, chest is bent forward more than I would like, so let's remove a bit of that by offsetting the whole pitch curve up. Another thing, if you check the arms together with the legs, you can see they are really off actually. The arms move almost simultaneously with the legs. The arm goes to the front almost together with the leg, which is completely wrong. We need to offset the arms. Select the adjustment layer we did before, together with both of the upper arm bones. Offset all the keys to the right by 10 frames. Because we have looped the animation before, we can just offset those keys however we like, and the animation will stay looped. Okay, now the upper arms are much better, but we also need to offset the elbow bend. 15 to the right. Now let's make the bend a bit bigger again, to be almost straight at this point, and to be a bit bigger at the other point. That looks better. At this point we have just one adjustment layer for the upper arms. Let's also rename it maybe. Now create another one, where we will change the position of the fingers a bit. The thumb doesn't look relaxed at all with this pose, so let's try and move it a bit to make it look as relaxed as possible. It might seem like a small detail, but I have shown what just a simple change of position of the shoulders can do in a previous video. And this is something similar. When we walk, our arms are almost completely relaxed, together with fingers. And if you see something like we had here, it breaks the illusion we are trying to create with the animation. Even if you don't notice it specifically, you feel that something is off, and it creates more robotic look for the animation. Okay, now the last part will be fixing that snapping of the legs. Create another adjustment layer, and key the pose at frame 0 and 30. 30 because the walk cycle is 30 frames long. Activate the motion path in Object Properties, also called Trajectory in older versions of 3ds Max. I had it turned on already, but this is where you find it. Now let's see. The frame 14 is where the snapping happens. So let's key the pose at frame 12 and also at frame 16. Now on frame 14, move the platform to the position where it doesn't snap anymore. Also, don't forget to loop the whole animation for the platform, so it stays the same all the time. Now if you take a look, no more snapping on the blue leg. Let's do the same for the other one. Key the frames at 0 and 30. Loop the animation. And now the snapping frame is 28, so key poses at 26 and 30, which we already have. Move the leg back at frame 28. Even 29 if needed. And there it is, no more snapping for the legs. What we can also do now is to add twist to the foot platforms, so they rotate a bit outwards as the feet move forward. Something like this. And with this, we are basically done with the animation. It would probably need a bit more polishing and maybe even some small adjustments, but polishing face is really hard to record without being too stretched, slow or boring, because it's more of an intuitive process and process based on a feeling. Also, a lot of times you revert the changes you have made and so on, so it's hard to explain the mind process while doing the polishing phase. But hopefully even a tutorial for an animation like this can be helpful to you. And I hope you have also learned something new while watching these two videos. Thank you, and thank you to all my Patreons. See you in the next video. I am Miloš Černý and thank you for watching.